Quando falamos do teatro em Portugal, imediatamente vem-nos a imagem de salas vazias. Talvez à exceção do teatro de revista e, recentemente, do teatro musical. Mas aqui em Goa o cenário é completamente diferente. Centenas e centenas de pessoas reúnem-se no adro da igreja e à frente dos templos, por vezes mesmo depois da meia-noite, para assistir ao espetáculo. Porquê? Como é que isto tudo começou? São algumas das questões que vamos tentar responder ao longo deste programa.
History of Tiatr is for last 114 years. We have completed 114 years for Tiatr. And till today in Goa, Tiatr is what people want. In other parts of countries, I feel that theatre is not so popular. But in Goa, it's wonderful, it's beautiful to be among with people and perform.
Tiatr é uma peça, é uma história, portanto, que tem interpoladas canções que não têm nada a ver com a história e rábulas políticas, que é aquilo que o aproxima, são estas duas componentes que o aproximam, por exemplo, do teatro de revista português.
Tiatr is unique and different compared to all other forms of drama is only because of this. A Tiatr has got a storyline. This storyline is divided into sometimes five, sometimes 6, sometimes 7 acts. Each act is called a poddo. Now, when one poddo is over, and before the start of the second poddo, there are songs in between. There can be 2 songs or 3 songs. These songs are not at all relevant on the story of the play.
E que é uma estrutura que, por exemplo, encontramos no cinema de Bollywood, que aí também parece que é herdeiro de tradições de natureza teatral anteriores.
The old Sanskrit plays, from which this is derived, the plays which were written in the 4th and 5th centuries and even earlier, with Kalidas and so on, from that this has come down. Now Natya Shastra, which is the art of right theatre, specified that every single play had to have tragedy, had to have comedy, had to have all the rasas, the 9 rasas, and also songs and dance. Without it, the play would not take place. And we have inherited this tradition from them. Like the first Hindi movie, talking movie, one of the talking, Indra Sabha, where 120 songs it had.
Tiatr is a well-known theatre form of Goa, and it has got around 110 or 115 years tradition. But prior to that, there was a folk form called Zagor, and that particular form of Tiatr, what now we call it Tiatr now, that has been evolved through that Zagor.
Khel and Zagor. In the north, we used to have Zagor. In the south, basically, it was Khel. They used to call it Fail also. But what has happened is that in those years, not many Goans were going to attend the shows of Zagor as well as Khel, only because the quality had declined. There was a lot of vulgarity, jokes, other things which were vulgar. So people stopped patronizing this Zagor as well as Khel, and there was a need for the Goans to have some sort of entertainment, and that's how Tiatr came into existence.
Zagors came to a stop when I believe there was a murder in Korthali because of what they had exposed on stage or talked about the affairs of some official. There was a quarrel and there was a murder, and with that the government came down heavily on Zagors. Though some performances still continued in Sioli and Kandoli and perhaps Arle Raya. Now, I have found that there are actually two opinions or two directions from which Tiatr has begun. It is officially kind of accepted that Tiatr began with the formal enactment of Lucasino Ribeiro's Italian drama on Italian Burgo on 17th April 1892.
In fact, it is very surprising to see that Goan Tiatr came from an opera from Italy. In Bombay, in the 19th century, Italian operas used to come, and they used to stage their plays at Bombay, Madras, Delhi, Calcutta, and many Goans used to go to Bombay in search of jobs.
They came to Bombay looking for work, and we said all the cooks and the violinists were Goans, basically. And they joined in the film industry. At one time, they were only Goan violinists.
And there was one Goan named Lucasino Ribeiro. He went to Bombay in search of a job. He came across one advertisement whereby they wanted backstage artists. These Italian opera troupes which were coming, they wanted backstage artists, and he applied. And he got the job as a backstage artist. He moved with the troupe to Simla, Calcutta, Madras, and when they were going back, at that time, he saw that those were the last performances of that play. The name of that opera was Italian Boy. So he thought something, and he asked them whether they can sell those costumes. And he bought those costumes, second-hand costumes. Now, these costumes were, when he bought from them, anybody could guess that he was having something in mind.
Lucasino was also fortunate in having borrowed or having purchased the velvet costumes from the Italian opera company. And then there were Goan musicians on hand in Bombay because they had already been playing during the era of the silent movies when Lumiere cinematograph was first shown in the Watson Hotel and then Novelty Theatre in Bombay. The Goan musicians were on hand to provide the background music. So they had a ready team of musicians. They had to struggle to get actors because not many were keen because of the low standard or the people's prejudice against Zagors.
So then he collected only 5 or 6 Goans in order to act.
And he was assisted by João Agustin Fernandes, who is now regarded as the father of Konkani Tiatr. 2 other gentlemen, Caetanino Fernandes and Agostinho Mascarenhas. A 5th person's name is not yet known. The 5 of them actually played the 9 roles in that play.
He used all those costumes, and when he went to produce, when they were rehearsing, he came to know that there are some problems as far as the changing of the setting is concerned. When one act was over, there needed some time to change the set. So what he did, that the people should not, the audience should not bore, so he put songs. He dropped the curtain, he put some dances and songs, and when these songs and dances were going on in front of the curtain, he was setting his stage behind the curtain. So as a result, after every act he did this. And these songs were not relevant to the play, to the story of the Italian Boy. So under these circumstances, a new format came into existence. That format was well enjoyed by the people, and this was called as Tiatro. In fact, they were spelling this word in Portuguese, T-E-A-T-R-O, Tiatro. The present spelling Tiatr is done by us in 70s. In fact, I was responsible. We said, why we should have a foreign spelling? Let us spell it the way we pronounce it. And as a result, T-I-A-T-R came into existence. But our Goan Tiatr has got origin, I must say, in the Italian opera.
From then on, of course, João Agostinho moved on to, within a year, he wrote The Bell of Cavell, which is a comedy and based on Goan life. He then, João Agostinho went on to write about 30 plays, and only 4 were translations. So 26 original plays based on Goan society. And he took in themes like drunkenness or dowry, caste distinctions. I think one of his major ideas was to have Goan unity, and many of the places like Bhatkara, Bell of Kabel, then Vauradi, they try to bring together various strata of Goan society.
Até porque em Bumbém eles vão separar com um fenómeno que aqui não se separavam, que é o fenómeno da coexistência com diferentes comunidades. E com uma forte definição comunitária, quase numa mentalidade de gueto que aqui não existia. E, portanto, esse fenómeno depois vão passá-lo para cá. Vão trazer o teatro para Goa, vão trazer uma série de manifestações culturais, aí é de mais natureza cultural, que vão chegar a Goa e que vão influenciar, de facto, e continuam a influenciar as classes médias baixas de Goa e as classes populares. E basta ver que aqui o teatro e o drama em Konkani católico continua a ser bastante popular.
Tiatr is not totally restricted to Catholic community. But when we say, any Goan say, Tiatr, then immediately we make out that 99% people will say that it is by Catholic community.
Igreja de Rivona. É muitas vezes em igrejas como esta que podemos encontrar palcos improvisados como este e onde podemos assistir a peças de teatro. O mesmo acontecendo nos templos, mas neste caso não chamamos teatro, mas sim natak.
When natak means Hindu community. This is main difference. And when you come to natak, then there are various aspects like Sangeet natak, Aitihasik natak, Samajik natak, Pauranik natak. That is what I said, ki, mythological, then social, then historical. Whatever the episode they are discussing in the drama, accordingly it is categorized.
Whenever there have been festivals, there have been dramatic performances. And so whenever there has been the Zatra, there has been related either the Zagor or the Natak associated along with the temple feast. Where Christianity was concerned, along with all the major church feasts, there would be the entertainment provided in the form of Tiatr. But there has been the secularization that has come into Tiatr. And so now Tiatrs are not restricted to the church halls, they have gone on to be performed in the public halls.
But Tiatr by itself is a very successful sort of commercial form of entertainment in Goa, very successful. They have hundreds of shows of one production, and you have kind of house full all the time.
In Goa itself, at present, there are about 20 to 25 production companies of theatre itself. Each production company is having over 100 performances.
A paixão pelo teatro aqui em Goa é tão grande que encontramos um encenador, que também é escritor e ator, que montou um palco aqui na sua própria casa, onde os atores vêm ensaiar todas as noites. Vamos então conhecer Govind Raikar.
Previously, I used to having my job. That means I was working as a technician, Philips technician. Then I have doing catering job. And presently, I'm fully on this drama jobs only, on my production only. I'm writing, I'm directing, I'm acting in my dramas. Even my wife, even my child, all are acting in my dramas, and my friends also.
माझे लग्न जावन हांवें रोखडेच म्हाका मिस्टरान ड्रामान हाडले. पयलीं हांव केन्नाच करूं नाशिल्लें ड्रामा बी.
आज प्लीज वचूं नाका न्हू पार्टेक. आज आमी खंय तरी भोंवपाक या. कालची एनिवर्सरी आज सेलिब्रेट करूया. आगो कशें जाल्यार तूच कित्याक येना आमच्या पार्टेक?
बरें दिसता आतां खूब की म्हाका उबें सुद्दां रावंक कळनाशिल्लें. म्हाज्या मिस्टरानूच म्हाका हाडलें हितून. आनी स्टेजीर काम करतना खूब बरें दिसता, आवडटा. लोकांचो रिस्पॉन्स मेळटकूच बरें दिसता. आनी ताळयो मेळटकूच खूब बरें दिसता.
राव हांव सांगता हांव सांगता पळय तुजो रोन सुनेचो
तुका आपयता
तुका तुका
म्हाका कितें जालें
म्हणजे एक्टर अशें म्हाका फर्स्ट टायम एक्सपिरियन्स मेळ्ळा म्हणजे हांव नाटकांनी वा डान्स बीन तशें कामां करतालें बट इन कॉलेजीन वा स्कूल लायक दॅट पण फर्स्ट टायम म्हाका भाई खातीर म्हणजे गोविंद रायकर हे जे भाई आसा आमचे डायरेक्टर तेंच्या खातीर म्हाका येदे व्हडले प्लॅटफॉर्म मेळ्ळे आनी येदे व्हडले प्लॅटफॉर्माचेर हांवें परफॉर्म केलें आनी फर्स्ट टायम परफॉर्म करून म्हाका प्रायज मेळ्ळें ते सगळे भाई खातीर.
My actors which were acting in my group, they are having their own professionals. Some builders are there, some teachers are there, some they are having their own shops. Other different types of business are there. They are acting as a hobby.
As far as I know, only Rose Fons and Prince Jacob have been fully in theatre. But most of the other theatres, even the great theatres such as C. Alvarez or Alfred Rose, Miguel Rod, they did have jobs on the side which enabled them to survive. Some of them put in so much into theatre that they were actually impoverished by sacrificing their life for theatre. C. Alvarez, Prem Kumar are examples in this category.
E uma das questões que se levanta é, para estas formas artísticas, é a sua sobrevivência, como é que asseguram a sua sobrevivência perante a concorrência da televisão, de cinema, etc.
The government doesn't pay for this theatre at all, not a pie till today. The public who is more interested in this art, this form of art, that is what is keeping the Konkani theatre alive. Participation of the people.
It has survived in spite of competition from other forms of entertainment, in spite of very little sponsorship from government or from the administration, which only goes to prove that theatre is popular and is bound to survive for quite some time to come.
But how come theatre wins so much attention when there is, against the formal theatre? Because
I think this is well proven, because when there is a tendency to be elitist, the audience that you can have for a very elite performance is limited. It would depend on the ability of people to pay high rates for a performance, and therefore the formal drama, or if drama becomes exclusive, then it is not likely to survive for long, especially in a situation like Goa. But because theatre has had this ability to adapt and adjust to situations, during village feast the performance is done out in the fields with just a stage being erected and an enclosure being set up and chairs and all other paraphernalia being brought in. Even the set is simplified. You may have very standard backgrounds. But people come in large numbers. In fact, you'll find a village performance of a theatre is always houseful, because there is something that attracts people to the theatre performances. And they have been faithful in making sure that there is a houseful crowd for a festival theatre. And because of this, possibly this trend of adjusting according to the situation, the performance is as good when it is in the village as it would be when it is staged in a hall. And so that popularity for theatre has also enabled the theatre to survive, whereas very elite forms have gradually not obtained the patronage and the support that they needed to survive.
Sometimes we are starting our dramas 12 o'clock, midnight. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock also we are starting in Chatras. I don't know how our temple is full of people.
You get more than 3,000 shows per year, which means it's a very popular form of entertainment, and it is accepted that it is one which has mass appeal.
Last time I have performed in Theatre Kala Academy. My price tickets cost was 200 front line, 100 and 50 rupees.
So usually what is the average of people who come to see an attack in the temples?
Average of people means 400 to 500.
Average 1,000, over 1,000. The other day you saw in Benauli, there was about 1,800 crowd.
मोजो अमेरिका कासलो चायनीज पगार जोडटालो 2 वर्सांनी 1 म्हयन्याची सुटी घेवन गोंया येतालो रातीस फकत पार्टियोच करून आमी गांभोरी मोजा मारतालो गांवा कुसोरी तूं काम कर एकमात उगडासर गोंयचें घर सदांच दवर सांबाळून
पाय बाये पावयले कितको बरोवपाचें इंग्लिशीन इंग्लिशीन जाय तुका एक पाय बाये पावयले सार बेबे कित पडे बेबो बेबो बेबे
So there are two directions from which Tiatr have begun. Besides the formal idea, I think essentially Tiatr has a much more ancient origin and goes back to the times when people performed rituals in order to appease deities. I believe earlier people would go to the jungles, normally shepherds would clear a small space in the forest and have their deities there. So annually they would perform a ritual and invite village people to participate. Now after the religious ritual they would also have some form of entertainment for the people, which would be an enactment, a skit or so. And so Tiatr has actually moved from ritual and then gone on to performances like Zagor, which are all-night performances, where you have scenes from the Ramayana or Mahabharata enacted.
Agora, é verdade, mas o que acontece é que o teatro em si, como forma, tem a ver com isto, mas também tem a ver com os fenómenos teatrais ocidentais do século XX, do século XIX. Portanto, em termos de estrutura, tem muito a ver com o teatro de revista, o teatro de vaudeville, o teatro dançado, cantado, que existiu na Europa, nos Estados Unidos, e que entre nós sobreviveu, cada vez ainda sobrevive na forma da revista, e o teatro também tem a ver com esse tipo de estrutura, por uma razão muito simples, é que isto é gente, é uma expressão artística cristã, de gente que foi trabalhar para ingleses. Alguns foram trabalhar como músicos e os compositores deles seguramente estavam a trabalhar como músicos para o teatro inglês, que ouviam as histórias e portanto, toda uma novela de papel, etc., em inglês que importaram e, portanto, tem a ver com que tem importações dos dois lados. Também há de ter sofrido influências dos autos e dramas cristãos que se faziam nas paróquias, portanto, há aqui todo um conjunto de influências que são sincréticas, mas eu penso que o que lhe dá estrutura nessa fase do século XIX e que lhe serve de modelo é modelo mais de teatro europeu.
Modern era started in 1930, most probably in all over India, in 1930s. All modern forms, poetry, short stories, drama, which came from the western side. Here in India, there was background of Sanskrit literature, even dramas. And most powerful thing was the folk elements here, in drama also, in folk element. But it was not more drama, modern drama. Modern drama came to 1930s from western.
As I told you, the first Tiatr came directly from that Italian opera. But in 1940s, not 40s, in 1840s, modern theatre was being involved everywhere, including Bombay, Calcutta, Delhi, everywhere. And that time, the trend was to adapt Shakespeare's, Molière's, or other English plays or French plays. Same thing happened in Konkani. The last 4 or 5 years of 19th century and this first 10 years of 20th century, you will see that most of the theatre which were presented, they were transliterations or adaptations of English plays or French plays. So it was only in 1904, for the first time, João Agustin Fernandes, who is known as father of Tiatr. Actually, father of Tiatr we call him now, Earlier he was known as Pai Theatrist. Pai Theatre, that is in this. He wrote the original play. And since then, we started, our people, then and now, is writing original plays.
Theatre is not a modern drama. Modern drama is a great tradition from the Mowgli or Shakespeare that we are followers here. Is a Konkani drama, is a modern Konkani drama. So we have modern Konkani drama which is started in 1912 and Tiatr is already started in 1892. So Tiatr is a long tradition more than Konkani drama. So this is the totally two parts. Tiatr is a very popular among the most Christian communities, but it is based on entertainment and a musical show like this. But it is folk style, very popular.
Tiatr in fact is a mirror of our society, and therefore a person who go to witness a Tiatr, when he sees a whole story through the play, he will also experiences another 14 to 16 different topics through different songs, and therefore it becomes enjoyable. Only to a person who comes for the first time and who is accustomed to drama, English drama or Marathi drama, he may find it little awkward, but once he is accustomed to that, he cannot leave the taste of it. It is just like beer. For the first time it is bit bitter or something, but once you start taking, you cannot leave. That is the this. But one more thing I must tell you, cantar is also a Portuguese word. I think para cantar means to sing, no? So this cantar and cantaram also came from the Portuguese word.
É durante estas cenas musicais que se fazem críticas. Críticas às vezes bastante severas, principalmente no que diz respeito ao governo. E é engraçado que, fazendo Goa parte da União Indiana e sendo aqui a censura bastante rígida, a verdade é que o teatro aqui em Goa não é censurado.
Theatre, when they started in Portuguese tourism, Portuguese government banned the theatre, and afterwards our Goan people, they shifted theatre in Bombay, and they make their shows in Bombay.
In 1894, Lucasin Ribeiro's troupe came from Bombay and performed theatres in Goa. Subsequent to that, the troops from Bombay would come and have performances in Goa. Of course, all these performances were subject to the approval of the censor. Every script had to be passed by the censor. Those who attempted to have a performance without having it censored would get into trouble. I think Robin was arrested for trying to have a performance that was not censored.
That particular system of getting alvara is till now going on, but it is just for license to perform that. But it is not essential that you should submit the script, then there will be the censor board will be going through that and checking everything, and then clearance from censor board is given and performed. No, it is still existing in Maharashtra, but Goa, no.
The Indian government has not strictly enforced censorship, at least as far as theatrical performances have been concerned. So in a way that has been a blessing, because it has allowed theatrists to be critical of government policies, to be critical of the society, and in a way to kind of become reformist in that sense. I think theatre have helped social transformation to a very large extent, and this has been possible more because there hasn't been censorship exercised after liberation, post-liberation.
Chegamos ao fim de mais um Contacto Goa. Espero que tenham gostado de conhecer um pouco mais sobre o teatro em Goa. E eu cá estarei daqui a 15 dias. Foi Naik de Souza, Francisco Vez Machado na imagem de Goa para a RTPI.